Good evening, everyone. This is Robert Jamieson. Welcome to our online lesson for Thursday, the 5th of December. I think it's our second last lesson, so next week will be the last lesson for the year. Anyways, I've got a nice little puzzle there for you. Who shall I talk to? Let's try Callum. You there, Callum? Say something to me, Callum. Nope, no Callum. Try Brijesh. Hello, Brijesh, are you there?
Huh?
Brijesh, talk to me.
Hello?
Hello, how are you today, Brijesh?
Yeah, I'm good.
That's good. Have you had a chance to look at the puzzle yet or not?
No, not really.
All right, well, maybe we can do it from scratch. This is one of Alekine's games. He was a world champion in the middle of the 20th century, and he was famous for being an attacking player. So let's have a look. He's got an extra pawn, hasn't he? He's got 7 pawns to 6. So we need an idea for Alekine. What do you think?
Maybe bishop a4.
Okay. Why do you choose bishop a4?
So I can play bishop e8 and then go to maybe bishop f7. So.
Okay, it's covered by the queen. All right, now today's session we're going to talk about planning, or not so much planning as ideas, perhaps little ideas that will take us over the next couple of moves. So I think this puzzle is a good example of it. So let's have a look at some ideas. So the first thing we should do is ask ourselves, what's the opponent up to? What's his plan? So when you look at it, he's pretty tied down, but if he could get his knight to d7 and then to e5, he'd have a really strong knight, and he can start maybe playing g3 and attacking things like that. So we need to be...
So we would need to play bishop a4.
So your idea, bishop a4, stopping that knight, that's probably a pretty good idea from that point of view. But that wasn't what Alekine did. All right, can you come up with another idea for me, Brijesh? What do you think?
Did he like pawn breakthrough or something?
Okay, well, when you look at the pawns, Alekine's got extra pawn on the queen side. So another idea, maybe he could play b4, a4, and try and promote that a pawn because he can get a passed a pawn. So that could be a good idea as well. All right. A third idea is we have a look around for things to attack. So he could maybe move his king across to g1 to h2 to g3 and try and gobble that g-pawn. That looks all right. But he didn't do any of them. So I'll give you one more go, Brijesh. Any fourth idea that we can come up with? Think about your pieces.
Maybe I don't know, maybe queen e8 or...
Queen e8, yeah, I'm not sure that that's helping us. All right, some of you came up with the right idea. I think Callum got the right idea, and Joey as well. So as I've been saying in these lessons, the most important thing is your pieces. Put them on good squares, make them as active as possible. So which piece isn't working for Alekine at the moment?
The bishop?
Yeah, it's a lousy bishop because it's bumping into our pawns. He's got to put his pawns on the same colour as his bishop. So let's have a really radical plan. What could he do to activate that bishop other than bishop a4?
E6? E5?
Yes, so what he played e5. All right, so now if, let's say, black takes with the f pawn, what do you think his follow-up would be?
F6.
Yeah, f6. The queen would take f6, but now Alekine can gobble the g pawn, and then he can choose. He could either play bishop f5 to kill the knight, or he could just play bishop e4, take the pawn. But he's activated his bishop, and he's going to be a pawn ahead, so he should win. Now, let's have another look, because there's another line. What are you going to do, Brijesh, if he takes with the d pawn? Do you have a good follow-up?
maybe I can play d6 or...
Yes, exactly right. D6. All right. Now he's going to take you with the C pawn. So you've just given me 2 free pawns. What's your follow-up?
Queen e8 or...
No.
bishop a4.
No. So we sack those 2 pawns to activate our bishop. All right. So where would we like our bishop?
Oh, bishop e4.
Almost, but not quite. I'll show you what he can do. He can play c5.
Ah,
So, for instance, if that pawn was to take bishop b3, and it's virtually a checkmate, you'll have to give up his queen and stuff. He loses a piece. So, after after c5, black will have to play d5. We can hit it with the bishop. Let's say the queen defends, and now Alakine can take that g pawn and take the f pawn probably, and he's romping it in. He's activated his bishop. So I just thought that was an interesting example of how his concentration was on activating his pieces, whereas most of other players like you and I maybe would play bishop a4 or some other move like that. So always think about activating your pieces. Okay, now let's see if I can get this revved up again and go on to our game for today. Okay. All right, thank you, British. I'll give someone else a go now.
thank you. Bye.
Bye. All right, let's try Daniel. Daniel Argentar. Are you there, Daniel?
Yes.
Right. Is your microphone going to be nice for today?
Yes.
Is there any way you can kill that background noise?
Okay.
I'm getting terrible echo. All right, sorry, I'll have to leave it. I'll try someone else. All right, we'll try Derek. You there, Derek? Hello, Derek. Earth to Derek. Nope. Not having much luck today. Oh, well. Joey. Talk to me, Joey.
Hello.
Hello, how are you today?
Good.
I always like talking to you because you have a nice microphone with not much background noise and static and stuff. So it must be that good, clean country air up there. All right. Now, today's game, I've chosen a game from the primary school section of the National Finals that we had last week. One of my students, Sean Zillman, is playing black, and his opponent's about similar standard, Thomas Umansky. It's a fairly long game, and they make quite a few sort of wrong plans. They get the wrong idea in their head. So we're going to have a look today, see if we can pick out what we think would be the better ideas than they came up with, and see if we can spot their mistakes and help us with our planning. Okay, let's get started. So white plays d4, black plays d5, white plays knight c3. What do you reckon, Joey? Good move or bad move?
Bad.
Because?
It's blocking the C pawn.
Yes, I've been through this a zillion times before. It's blocking the C pawn, and one of the aims of the opening is to get the 2 pawns side by side. So white has made a little mistake. So how are we going to punish him?
Maybe knight f6?
Yep, knight f6. So given that he's blocked the C pawn, we want to make certain we block that E pawn as well, and then he won't have any way of attacking the centre. So that should be what black's up to. White goes the other knight. Now, you'll never guess what black does here. What do you think he should do?
Maybe e6?
You want to block in your bishop?
No, c6.
No. What do you think? e6, c6, or move the bishop?
Bishop. Yeah, probably move the light squared bishop.
Yes, I would think so. So if it were me, I would probably play maybe bishop f5. Then my plan is to play e6, so I haven't blocked my bishop in. What would almost certainly be my move after that?
C5?
Yes, c5. And I've got the famous 2 pawns side by side in the centre, so I've got lots of lovely play. So that's what should happen. But naughty Sean, would you believe he played knight c6? Told him a zillion times not to block his c4, but he still did. So I'm a bit disappointed in that. And then they both put their bishops out, so they put their bishop in a good spot. Then they both play e3, e6. So it's shaping up as the world's most boring symmetrical game with no pawn play at the moment. Then bishop d3. All right, let's give everyone a question here. So White's just played bishop d3. He's hitting your bishop. So you've got 3 choices. You could just leave it there, maybe develop your own bishop to, I don't know, e7. You could do a swap, bishop to bishop, or you could drop your bishop back to g6. So that's your 3 choices. So type in on the question which one you reckon would be the best one. So Joey's saying he likes g6, bishop wants to go to g6, Maha wants to go to g6. So it's 100% so far. All right. Joey, you chose bishop d6. Tell me about that.
I don't really like taking.
Because?
You're moving a piece twice in the opening.
Yeah, and more importantly, yeah, White would recapture with a queen, so he's recapturing with the developing move. All right. What about just bishop e7, leaving your bishop there on f5? Would that be a good idea?
I don't think so, because then White's going to take...
Yeah, and you double pawns and stuff. It's not too bad, because the pawn's like in the centre, but it's still double pawns. All right. d6. Now, aren't you worried he's going to take you and double your pawns, or that doesn't worry you?
Well, then your H pawn recaptures and you've got a rook on a semi-open file.
Yes, exactly right. So bishop g6 is the way to go, and fortunately that's what Sean did. So I'm pleased with that one. All right, White just castled. Then Black, in the spirit of symmetry, did bishop d6. And White hadn't cottoned on, so he went back to bishop d8. So in fact now Black is ahead in development. But White plays knight b5. All right, your queen's attack, Joey. Where do you reckon we should put it?
On the 7th rank.
So you got d7 or e7. Which one do you like the best?
E7?
e7. Do you like e7? Why do you like e7?
I guess it's more on the same diagonal as your king. And White does have a light square.
Okay, I think I like e7 because the queen is on the black square and I've lost my black square bishop, so it's helping to control the black squares. But in the game he went d7, so we'll see in a minute whether that was perhaps a mistake. All right, White go. Let's give everyone something to do. White to play, guys. What do you reckon he should do? He's got 3 pieces developed. He's made his king safe by casting. He's got a foothold in the centre. What move should he play here? So Bridges is liking a rook e1. Joey's liking c4. Derek and Lucas like c4. Daniel likes queen d2. Most people going c4. So Joey, which one do you choose?
C4.
All right. Why do you choose c4?
2 pawns in the centre.
Yeah, 2 pawns side by side, getting some play. You'll be able to follow it up maybe with a rook on the c file, and you get some pressure down the c file. So I reckon c4 would be the go. White didn't know what to do, so he just played h3. It's an okay little improve your position move, but it's not really helping too much. All right, what should black do now, do you think?
Castle?
Castles, he might still play c4 on us then.
Sure.
Is there a way we can stop him playing c4?
I'm not sure.
Look at white's pieces. Are we happy with them, or do we want to swap them off or drive them away or something? Or
Maybe knight to b4.
No. What I'm thinking of, let's just play a6. That's hitting his knight, so where does his knight have to go?
Back to c3.
Yeah, so he goes back to c3, so he's given us a free move, and also he's gone back and he's blocked his c pawn again. So I'm happy with that. Now, black decides to do the same sort of thing. It's just about copying each other this game, it's silly. So, knight b4, try and get the bishop, and white says, no, I'm not giving you my bishop, I'm going to take. So now, as you said before, we take back with the h-pawn. I've seen some people take back with the f-pawn, and most of the time it's horrible. Like 9 times out of 10 you would take with the h-pawn, because that lets your rook into the game. And also if you decide to castle kingside, your king's pretty safe with all those extra pawns around it. You only take with the f-pawn if your rook was on the f-file and you had some good attack going. So black took back with the h-pawn, and white plays knight e5. So, oh, what's all that noise? Can you get that quiet in a bit, Joey?
Yeah, hold on. Could you always be quiet?
So, sounds like someone's making a mess in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Yeah, so knight e5. So now maybe black's saying, oh gosh, I wish I had to put my queen on e7. So he has to move the queen again, so he's given white a free move. And then you'll never guess what white plays. Given what's happened in the game so far, what do you reckon white's next move is?
A3?
A3, of course. They're just copying each other. So now black puts his knight back. Alright, now another decision point for white. So black's threatening to take on e5 and win a pawn. White's go. Type in what you think white should do here. White to play. Bridges is going f4. Derek likes f4. Everyone else is thinking hard. Callum likes queen f3, which I think is dropping a pawn, Callum. Joey's going rook e1. Daniel's going f4. Joey, are you really playing rook e1? Aren't I taking your knight on e5 and winning a pawn for nothing?
Oh yeah, good point.
Yeah. Right, so given rook e1's no good, what should you do?
F4?
What? All right, why would you prefer f4 to knight takes knight?
Oh, putting more pressure on the center?
Yeah, maybe. So our knight on e5, is that a good piece? Is that better than the knight on c6?
Yes.
Yes, it's in the middle of the board and more dominating, so we don't really want to swap. So what we should do is probably play f4. So now he can't swap because the pawn would retake and be a pin. So we've like established our strong outpost on e5. I was watching one of the other games in the, I think it was on Sunday when Ari Dale won. He was playing my student Gary, and Ari had a knight on e5 which was challenged. So he immediately played f4, cement the knight, and ended up getting a really strong kingside attack. So f4 would be the go, but white took, black took back. So it's getting pretty even and boring. Now, what do you think white should do now? Any ideas for him, Joey?
Maybe queen to d3.
Right, so improving the placement of the queen, that's not bad. What's his problem?
Whose? White or black?
Yeah, white. His pawn structure is pretty nice, his knight's developed, his king's not too bad.
His rooks aren't very helpful.
And his rooks aren't helpful because?
They're locked in behind pawns.
Yeah, he hasn't thought about pawn play, how he can create the open file to get his rooks on it and all that sort of stuff. So here maybe he should be trying for e4, so your idea may be queen d3, then perhaps rook e1 to follow up with, trying to force pawn to e4 to get the rooks in the game. That's not too bad. But white was in a bit of a pickle, didn't quite know what to do, so he ended up playing knight e2. What do you think of that one?
Probably not good.
Yeah, he's having to move a piece twice, and the knight was on a reasonable square on c3 and stuff. So he's sort of struggling a little bit for a plan. All right, I'll give someone else a go. Thanks for your help, Joey. Callum says he wants to be next, so I'll try Callum. Callum, are you there?
Yeah.
Can you talk up? I can barely hear you.
Yeah.
Yep, that's better. All right. So are you liking white or black so far in the game?
I like black.
Why do you like black?
He's got more pieces developed in the center, and he has more control.
Okay, he's certainly got one more piece developed. I think it's much of a muchness in the centre. Maybe his rook on h8 might be active one day, so that could be good. All right, so if you were black now, white just played knight e2, what do you reckon you do for black?
Knight e4.
All right, now why do you want to play knight e4? Tell me about
It
that.
controls in some of the deeper parts, and it hits one of the weak pawns on the king's side.
Okay, that sounds good in theory. Now there's two problems. First problem is you have to ask yourself, what is the opponent going to reply? So for instance, say he played f3, what would you do then? You'd have to go back again, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, or maybe to d6, so you've like wasted time. So in theory it's a good square, but it's only a good square if it can stay there. So for instance, if he didn't have that f-pawn, and the knight couldn't be challenged by a pawn, that'd be a fantastic square. Now, the other thing we have to think about is lots of the time you guys try to attack too early. So what do I say to you should be doing before you start thinking about attacking?
Get your king safe.
Yeah, let's get our king safe and our bits developed. So what should our move be here, do you reckon?
Castle queen side.
Yes, let's go castle queen side, and then we'll work out our plan after that. So our rooks aren't too bad, our queen, our knight's all right. It's not looking too bad. Okay. Let's see if we can help white now. So everyone, white's clearly struggling for an idea. Doesn't have to be a big idea, just a plan for the next move or two, or where he wants to put his pieces. What do you reckon he should be doing? Derek's come up with the correct answer. Well done, Derek. So either give me a move or two, or say where he should be playing. Callum's saying b3, Daniel's saying knight f4. Daniel Argentar. Anyone else want to have a go? Joey's saying play in the centre. Lucas is looking at queen d3. You like b3, did you, Callum? Tell me about b3.
Yeah. I like b3 because then you play rook c1 and then play b4 and you have 2 pawns in the centre.
Yeah, c4. Yes, so if you have a look around the position, you think, where should I be playing? Should I be playing on the king side, the centre, or the queen side? Well, if you look at White's pawn chain is pointing to the queen side. And White's struggling, I would think, to do anything on the king side. And in the centre, like he can't go e4 because Black's got that covered 3 times. So the only place he can play is on the queen side. And when you look at it, Black's king and queen, they're on the same line. So if we got our rook, say, on c1, played pawn to c4, we'd possibly get a pretty fair attack going on the queen side. So, yes, I think Derek said get c4 in, and that's your idea too, Callum, preparing with b3. So, good. That's what I'm after, you guys trying to pick the right plan in the position. But unfortunately, poor old White, he just went c3. So I don't know what he's doing there. Maybe he's trying to free up his queen or something. But again, his pawns aren't going anywhere. He's not getting the 2 pawns side by side. All right, let's see. Let's have a go. Black to play. All right, Black's got a nice position. His king's pretty safe. His pawns are all looking good. Now he has the problem. He's got to think of something to do. So where should he be playing? What's his plan? So type in the question, what do you reckon Black should be doing, or what's his next move or two? We need some ideas. So Thomas is saying queen d6 might be good. Lucas is going queen b5. Derek wants to push the g pawn. Maha wants to attack the king side. Daniel Argentar wants to move the queen to the king side. So I'm getting a few ideas. Callum, all right, Callum, you've said g5. So tell me, why do you want to play g5?
I want to play g5 to match that pawn up to his h3 pawn, and then he'll take, and I'll play queen d6, and then I'll get easy way to checkmate.
All right, so he may not fall for it, but so your idea basically is you want to attack on the king side. Is that right?
Yep.
All right. So how did you decide? Like some guys are saying queen b5, attacking on the queen side is a good move. How did you choose to attack on the king side?
Because he's got like his queen's gaps over the queen side, and most of our queen gaps you could like attack the king side while he's busy developing and that, because you said it's hard for him to do anything on the king side.
It's hard to do anything on the king side because our rook's in a really good spot on this H file, putting pressure down here. So we've got our rook potentially attacking, our knights on the king side, our queen could come to d6 and then on that diagonal, and it wouldn't take much to get our other rook in. So it's looking like king side would be a good spot for us to attack, and you are dead right. The correct move is g5. So if we're going to attack, we need to open up lines. So if we can get this pawn going, say, to g4, open the H file, that's probably going to be a pretty good attack. All right, let's see what happens. So white goes knight g3. So if we're going to push our pawn, we're going to lose the pawn because it's now covered by a queen and a pawn. And he's blocked off that diagonal that you wanted to attack him on h2. Okay, let's have a go. So black to play. Type in again, guys. We decided we're going to attack on the king side. What's our next attacking move? Is it a pawn move? Is it a piece move? Bridgesh has got the right answer. Well done, Bridgesh. Callum wants to go knight e4. Maha wants to go g4. Daniel's got the right move. Well done, Daniel. Thomas is looking knight h5, but it loses a knight. I just take it. Right, Callum, which one do you like?
Knight e4.
All right, tell me why you want to play knight e4.
To get rid of that knight on the queen's fire to the king.
Okay, well that gets rid of one of his main defenders, but it also gets rid of one of our attackers. So what's the basic principle if you want to attack? What are you meant to do with your pieces?
Have more attackers than defenders.
Yes, yes. So we need to build up, because we've got pieces at the moment, like this rook on d8, it's not really helping with the attack. The queen's not really in the attack yet. So some of you have found the good move, which I reckon would be rook h4. So see, that's supporting us if we want to play g4, and now our other rook could swing behind us, and we've got all that sort of pressure going on down the h-file. So I reckon that would be the best way to go with the attack. Unfortunately, Sean had a brain fade, and he played g6. I don't know why. Maybe he wants to play knight h5 or something. But white now has a good move. Callum, can you see a sneaky move for white?
Queen f3.
Yeah, queen f3. Oops, queen f3. So he's now attacking the knight, and if the knight moves, he's attacking the pawn. So poor old Sean's made a bit of a boo-boo. He broke our rules. He didn't build up his pieces. He played g6 for no reason. All right, so now he went knight e4. What do you want to do for white?
Maybe
You want to take the pawn on f7, or do you want to swap the knight on e4 or do something different?
swap the knight on e4, then take f7.
Yeah, exactly right. So we'll swap the knight, so he's lost one of his attacking pieces, and we've doubled his pawns, and now we take the free, delicious, juicy pawn. So white has a better pawn structure and an extra pawn, so it looks like white's going fairly well here. Now, the question is, what can black do? It's sort of fairly desperate, because if he lets white have another few moves, white will be able to consolidate and probably win with his extra material. So, critical point in the game, guys. I need you to get black's next move and probably the move after that as well. What do you think black should play here? What would be the best move here? He's still trying to attack on the king side, and he's now a pawn down. Joey's found it. Bridgesh hasn't found it. Queen e8. No, not queen e8, Bridgesh. Callum said g6. That's not legal. Black to play. So far, Joey's the only one with the right move. Callum saying g4. Anyone else want to have a go? Remember the principles of attacking. Build up your pieces and open lines to the king. Maha's looking at rook f8. Okay, Callum, you've got the right idea. Tell us what the right idea is.
Two open lines.
Yep, and we're doing that with what?
G4.
Yes, g4. Who cares about a silly little pawn if we can get at his king? So now we're threatening his h-pawn. So if he takes us, now the million-dollar question is, what should you do here?
Queen d6.
No, not queen d6. He could probably just drop back queen f4 and block your attack. think the general principles about getting more attackers than defenders, and we've just opened the H file. Can we do something exciting?
Rook H1.
Rook H1. I'll take it. Thank you for the rook. So now you're at the moment you're attacking me with one rook. You're not going to beat me with one rook. Bridges is screaming Queen D6, but we've done that, Bridges. I'm going to play Queen F4 and get out of it. Thomas has found it. Well done.
Queen D5.
No. All right, I'll switch over and give Thomas a go. Thanks, Callum. Where's Thomas? You there, Thomas?
Yeah.
Tell us your good idea.
Rook D7.
Yes, correct. Right, we can play Rook D7, attacking the Queen. Now maybe the Queen takes the G pawn, and what would we do then?
Rook H7.
Rook H7. So now we're threatening checkmate in one on H1. We've lost a couple of pawns, but we've got a pretty vicious attack going. He might try and get out of it with F3 or something, but then we perhaps look at bringing the Queen in. I don't know whether we do Queen D6 or maybe Queen B5 to get on the second rank, renewing our checkmate threat. But it would be a strong attack. So, well done. So the general principles we looked at, G4 to open lines, and then Rook D7 to get our non-attacking piece into the attack. But poor old Sean, he did Queen D7. What do you reckon about that, Thomas?
Not as good. It probably won't work now.
Why is it not as good? What's White going to do in reply?
Take the pawn.
Sure?
Or take the queen. No, take the queen.
Yeah, he takes the Queen. So we're trying to attack, we swap off queens. No way we're going to get an attack now. We're just in a double rook ending. We're a pawn down, and we've got lots of lousy, weak, isolated pawns. It's terrible. All right, so bad decision. Now, White's go. See if we can help White here. What should he do in this position? White to play. Perhaps a tricky little move. So type in the question, what do you reckon White's best move would be? So Lucas is going C4. Everyone else is thinking hard. Callum's going B4. Maha's going B4. Thomas is going F3. Lucas has changed F3. Daniel. Thomas, tell us about F3. What's your idea there?
Pushing the pawn and then getting the rook on an open file.
Okay, aren't you swapping off his isolated pawn for your non-isolated pawn? Does that worry you?
No, not really.
Excellent. You must be a strong player, Thomas. Well done. As I said before, it's all about your pieces, getting your pieces active. So if we play F3, he's pretty much got to take us. We take with the rook. So now we've got an active rook. We can double rooks. We can go up to the 6th rank with a double attack. We can rip across to G3. And he hasn't got too much counterplay. So if White was thinking about pieces, F3 would be the killer move. But White has this really strange idea. He has in his mind that the way to play chess is to throw pawns at your opponent. I'll show you the rest of the game where he does a lot of very strange pawn throwing. So he starts off with B4. Not sure what's happening there. Black plays Rook E8. So what's his idea with Rook E8, Thomas?
To push the E6 pawn.
Yeah, get rid of his isolated pawn, so that's okay. White goes C4. So now we push the pawn. And White decides he's going to take. Black takes. All right. Now everyone, White to play. What move would you play for White? White's still a pawn ahead. He's got better pawn structure. Lucas is saying Rook D1. Rook AD1. Joey's going Rook FD1. Regis is going Rook AD1. What do you reckon, Thomas?
Rook A, D1.
Yeah, probably doesn't much matter. So black's advantage is he has rook on the open file.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously what we could challenge that with our rook, and that negates out, rook for rook. And that's fine, we're just a pawn up. But black has a silly move in mind. He's throwing his pawns on the queen side. Maybe he thinks he's got a queen side attack. C5? All right. What should black do? Thomas, why is C5 a bad move and a waste of time?
C6.
Probably not. I think I just take it and say thanks for the pawn. Think about your
How do you
pieces.
think?
C6, I got a pawn on B7. Oh, sorry. Oh, black move. Sorry. Hang on. I'm getting back to front. I was thinking white's go. C6. No, waste of time. You were trying to prevent C6, I was thinking. Was that your idea or not?
Yeah, well, if you could stop him. Yeah, probably.
I don't think it's a threat. So think about your pieces. Where do you want your pieces?
Rook D5. The E rook.
I think you'd double rooks, wouldn't you? That would be the logical thing. So he can't challenge you on the D file and put your rook on the 7th or something. I think that'd be the way to go. But he does the other rook, the D5. So I don't know why he's doubling on the 5th rank. I don't understand that one at all. White goes now rook to the D file, and black plays your move D6. White swaps, black takes with the rook. Alright, now, tricky bit. So, white's still a pawn up, still has a better pawn structure, but the most important thing is active pieces, and black's the one with the active rook on D5. White's go. What would you guys do for white? How can he improve his position? Bridges is going rook F1, Joey's going king F1.
King F1 maybe?
Maybe. So the question you should be saying is, how can I improve my position? How can I activate my pieces? Where do I want my pieces? Bridges has now got the idea king H2. So he's wanting to plant his king over on G3, maybe go up to G4. So that's his idea. So Callum, Thomas, what's your idea?
You can get your king over, then try and swap off rooks.
All right, but if you play king F1, maybe I'm playing rook D2. What are you going to do then?
King E1.
All right, and I put my rook over on the B file or something.
Rook D1.
So if you go rook D1, can I just attack your A pawn? You're dropping your A pawn?
You could do then maybe rook D4.
Yeah, you're close. In this position, so think about your pieces. What you should probably play is rook C1. So now, if black plays rook D3, we can activate our rook on C4. We lose our A pawn, but we get the E pawn, and now our rook's active, and we've got all those pawns on the king side that should hopefully win the game. But white wasn't thinking along those lines, and he went G3. So black says, okay, I'm rushing my king in. Got to get my king helping, because my rook's already good. White goes H4. What do you reckon, Thomas? Good move or bad move?
Bad.
Because?
You're just undoubling his pawns.
Yeah, he's giving up he's swapping pawns, but it's his good pawn for a bad double pawn. So his plan is king and his rook are both on the back rank, and he's doing the pawn throwing attack. So, black just goes chop, chop. Now, what do you reckon black should do here?
Rook H5.
Rook H5 is possible. The only drawback is if you do rook H5, I'm then doing rook D1 check. Now my rook is getting in and doing stuff. Any other idea? Can you improve your position of your pieces while still keeping me under pressure without my pieces being good?
You could try and get your king over.
Yes. Yeah, like so I would do king e6, I think, try and get my king in there. But black's going g5. Swaps off another pawn, but it's not so hot. Right. Chops, rook takes check. King go to the h file or the f file, do you reckon?
F.
Yeah, should go to the f file. He went to the h file. So black now brings his king in. And now it's interesting. White challenges rooks. Now, white's a pawn up, but black's king is closer to the middle. So I want you guys to tell me, should black exchange or should he do something different? What move would you play for black? So Joey's going rook h5 check. Lucas is swapping. Maha likes the rook h5. Daniel wants to swap, so we're 2-all. Thomas, what do you reckon? Swap or not?
Don't swap.
Because?
Then because he has the extra pawn.
Yes.
And you can just.
Yeah, when you're down, you don't swap pieces generally, and our rook's probably more active than his. So you should play rook h5 check, say king g2. Then maybe swing our rook across to the d file with the idea of the rook coming into d3. He hasn't got a pass pawn yet, so it's not too bad. But silly old black, he went swap. Okay. But maybe it's not lost. Let's have a look. So king d5, that's the obvious move. Now, what do you reckon white should do, Thomas? Got to be careful because black's king's probably going to rush in and gobble your queen side. Any idea?
Maybe king g2. Getting the e pawn.
Right, but by the time you get the e pawn, I've gone down to a3, chopped on b, so it takes me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 moves to queen. You're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Any other idea? Lucas is saying f3. What do you think about f3?
I don't know.
Okay, were it me, I think I might do, if that's my plan, I wouldn't do f3, I go f4. So if he doesn't take me, I've got a supported pass pawn, and his king's tied down to defending that pawn. In the game, he went f3. Now, what should black do?
Takes.
He should take. Free pawn. King f2. Now, so what should black do now? His pawn's attacked.
King e4.
Now, the trouble is, if you do king e4, I'm going to run you out of moves, aren't I? I'm going to play a4, and your king will have to go back, won't it? And I take your pawn. So king e4 looks obvious, but not king e4. There's probably another move which may still save the game. What is it?
King c4.
King c4 I think is going to be too slow because now I do have a passed e pawn. So I'm just going to take your pawn and then go e4, e5, e6, supported by my king. No. Lucas has found it. Well done, Lucas.
King e5.
No, I just take your pawn and your king's not in a good spot. You need to get a passed pawn or make it easier for your king to take my pawns. So you've tried king e4, you've tried king c4. Callum's found it.
Or, A5.
Yes, should play a5. So now, like, if I take, you can go takes. I think you've got time for king c4. So like e4, king takes b4. And your king's going to go back, and we're both going to have a passed pawn. I think it works out as a draw. But poor old black didn't do that. He went king e4. So what should we do?
Push.
We should push, but white pushed his king. So now we go chop chop. Who's winning?
White.
White. Who do you reckon won the game?
Black.
Would you believe black? I'll show you what happened. King d5, e4 check, looks pretty good. King e4, a4, so white's running the black king out of moves. Black goes back, so this is hopeless. We just march our king up. But white has a brain fade and goes b5. For about the last 30 moves, all he's been doing is pushing his pawns. And this one is a disaster because black now has a passed pawn. So now it could be a draw. So black's pushing the pawn, but white's king is in the square. He first goes with a check. But now he has a problem. If he goes back, he's going to lose both his pawns, and maybe black will have a one king and pawn ending. And to add to his brain fade, he just plays king d4, and black gets a queen, and white ends up losing horribly. Dear oh dear. What do you reckon, Thomas? What was white's problem?
I've no idea how he stuffed that up. It was just...
It was ridiculous. But all game, once we swapped the queens and got to that ending, he left his rooks and his king sort of sitting there, and they were just pushing pawns. It was just terrible. So that was a good example of what not to do. And as I was explaining, as we went through the game and we tried to choose the correct plan, most of the time the plan was about activating your pieces, getting your pieces into attacking positions or helping each other, that sort of thing. So even though it wasn't a high-quality game, they're both reasonable players, and they made a few mistakes along the way and one big mistake at the end. But I think that was a good learning example for you guys of how to think in your own games, what to think about. So keep thinking about your pieces, where they should be, and all that sort of stuff. And I'm sure your planning will be much improved. Anyway, that's the end of today's lesson. So thank you, everyone. I think there's a tournament on at the Melbourne Chess Club this weekend with maybe 1 or 2 grandmasters playing. So if you want to follow live games, feel free to tune into that and see how you go. And otherwise, I'll see you hopefully all next Thursday for our last lesson for the year. So thank you and good night, everyone.
Yep. See ya.
Yeah, bye.
The organizer